Welcome back to EarthX 2026. I'm Paul Salfen, and today we have a very special conversation, a fireside chat, if you will, with no fire, which is probably better in here, with Andrea Kanaris. So welcome.
Thank you, Paul.
We are so excited to have you here with us today. There's some brilliant minds, some great people here, and that we've been meeting. And I know you've got something really, really special to tell us. Talk to us a little about what you're doing here and
Yes.
and what you do.
Yeah, I'm a social scientist, social planner, and I was actually in Fiji when someone from Houston told me all about the EarthX, and I had to come over because apparently these are my peeps, all the sustainability people. I am actually the S in ESG, if you like. I do all the social
That's great.
impact work. I assess the impacts of particularly large scale projects, mainly,
Mm,
and the effect that they have on communities.
yeah. That's wonderful. And of course, everyone has that spark that starts this whole thing. I'm so curious to know when that was that something happened that just set you on that path and you went down this road.
Yeah, that's a great question. I was actually in university and my undergrad,
Hmm.
and my professor actually saw something in me I didn't know was there. So he spotted it first, and he invited me to come and do his course in social planning and
Mm,
development. And as part of that course, there was the social impact assessment was part of the
yeah.
program, and I did it once, and I was sold, I think.
Hmm.
So I fell in love with it. I kind of got it, and I really appreciated the significance and importance of being able to early identify the kinds of things that affect people in a negative way and being able to do something about it before it was too late rather than waiting for it to happen, that predictive nature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. So when does social impact become just kind of marketing, really?
Become what, sorry?
Marketing.
Uh, I, I, I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it is one of those things that ongoing monitoring
Yes,
and keeping your finger on the pulse, questioning your assumptions that you make
that's right.
is critically important. But the other thing that I think gets understated is understanding the current conditions. If you're going to predict something, you got to know what the current conditions are so that you understand what an intervention might
Yeah.
do or not do.
That's interesting. And at EarthX here, we run into some wonderful people. Of course, this is the last day being Earth Day, but you probably run into some really, really incredible people here, right?
Yes. Yeah, there are so many to count. People who are dealing with some of the really critical issues,
Hmm.
the plastics,
Yes.
microplastics, and quite a few people that are doing really amazingly innovative things to make sure that we're removing the microplastics, and really that understanding of the interface with what I do in terms of how that affects people's human health.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And I know that, of course, younger people are doing so much better with
Yes.
this kind of stuff than
Yes.
our generations did. So, what do you attribute that to? Because you can see it in the students here, you can see it in my kids, in things that, they're just doing so much better. They seem to care so much more in general, right?
Absolutely, they do. Uh, I like to think that it's an accumulation of things. I think sometimes it's a slow burn. If you look back to environmental policies that have started off around in the
Yeah.
70s, and we've been doing it, but each generation, I think, ramps it up.
Hmm.
And I think what we're seeing in this younger generation is they've been brought up with their parents who are already conscious, and that just makes them even more hyper conscious. But also, they explore it in their own way, and then they really adopt it and take ownership of it. And it's really great to see. I mean, the young people are,
Yeah.
uh, it's more intrinsic in them. Their culture is obviously there. So I suppose a fish doesn't know that it's in water. It just absorbs. It's just part of life for them, I think.
Yeah. And so for those kids that want to follow along with what you're doing and they think, see, that's what I want to do. I want to go down this road. I want to help
Yes.
people. Well, what kind of advice would you give them?
Oh, I would say be open to opportunities when they come. I always say to people, if a door opens, don't be afraid to walk through
Yeah.
it. You can always say it's not for me, and you can pivot. So I think that's important. I think the other thing is to try and align something that's important to you
Hmm.
with something that's a need in the world. And if you marry those two things, it doesn't feel like work at all. It's just it's a vocation and it's a
Yeah.
passion, and it ceases to be work.
Mm. Now, of course, this doesn't really have anything to do with the earth or the environment, but it may wrap back around. So, my co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
Caught the Hail Mary, went in the Hall of Fame, and we love asking people their Hail Mary moment, the moment in your life or career where you just kind of had to go for it and it worked out for you. I'm so curious to know what that moment was.
Yeah. Look, I would say starting all things social impact,
Yeah.
which is I was working for a big engineering firm and I got made redundant. I'd already started writing my book and I already had my business registered, but I wasn't really doing anything with it. And I got made redundant. And I think that was a pretty Hail Mary moment where
Yeah.
you went, I guess I'm all in now.
Hmm.
And as fate turns out, I mean, it's wonderful. It's been a wonderful experience. And putting yourself in a position where you go, I'm just going to back myself. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of us are very reluctant to do that sometimes. And it's been a ride, but a very pleasant one. And it's brought me here as well, which has been wonderful. So I've met amazing people. I get to work on some real projects. But when you're running the business yourself, you get to do those things that you've been, I guess, hands tied
Hmm.
because other people are making decisions. So it's lovely to be in that position where you can uh, write your own destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and writing a book is so
Oh,
much harder than you can imagine, isn't it?
it was. I must admit, I there were several times where I started writing and went, no, that's not right.
Yeah.
There's a million books that have done that. I don't need to
Yeah.
rewrite something someone else has done. So, but then when I found my stride, I think it does start to flow. I think
Yes.
anyone who's written knows that you get a flow on, but
Hmm.
at first it can be a bit tough for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about the book.
Yeah, so the book is a practical guide to social impact assessment for the real world. And what it is, drew on my experience building teams for social impact
Mm-hmm.
assessment in environmental firms, in engineering firms as well, and identifying something that they used to come and ask me all the time. Like, I get some of the brightest students, really intelligent. I mean, you see them
Hmm.
running around here
Oh,
today,
yeah.
right? But they would still say to me, but how do I actually do it?
Hmm.
So it just came to me that there's this real gap between the theory and the practice. And
Hmm.
this was about the putting the practicality in it. I think there's so many books on the theories
Yeah.
and a lot around the thinking and the standards and the regulation. So that was in abundance, but I did notice that there was a real dearth of information around
Yeah.
the practical application of those theories. And so I wanted to take that because it was the thing I was being asked about the most, and take my experience and I say gift it to the world and say, well, here
Yeah.
there's something that I've got to contribute. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, and it's an uphill battle too. And we talk about that as success mindset that you have to have, and kind of when you're kind of the world is against you, but it's totally worth doing. What do you keep in mind that keeps you on that right path, that keeps you fighting?
Oh, I I think it's a bit innate.
Mm.
I've always been the kind of person who, when someone says you can't do something, or if it's like I like a
Yeah.
challenge, so the liking a challenge is
Yeah.
a helpful thing to have. So I've been lucky to have that anyway. But I think the other thing is a not give up spirit too. It's you get a choice in moments like that to say, is this going to destroy me and set me down and set me back, or is this going to be an opportunity for me to rethink what I want to do
Mm.
and step up to the plate?
Yeah.
So I think it's the choice that you make. Are you going to take it and turn it into something positive, or are you going to allow it to be a negative experience?
Yeah. Oh, so well said. And as far as social impact in our home, in our
Mm.
work, in our schools, what can we do better? Because it's sort of it is overwhelming to think about it, but if you break it down piece by piece, or if you just start, we could do something.
How would I explain
Yeah.
social impact
Well,
to
no,
you?
what would you say that we can all do better?
What we could all do, oh wow, I think there seems to be a growing trend, and I've had a few people on my podcast talk about this, and kindness and gratitude and things like this.
Yeah.
I think overwhelmingly, particularly with social media becoming more in sort of
Yeah.
flooding our phones and our devices. I think the negative is really permeating through, and I think that adopting actively taking on things like kindness and gratitude in
Yes.
more proactive way consciously to offset some of that is
Yeah.
really critically important. And it's really nice to see that there's some businesses and companies starting to recognize the importance of bringing that into their culture and
Hmm.
mindsets, because the bullying in workplaces, bullying in school grounds, I know I've seen it with my nieces. I think a lot of people have experienced it in
Yes.
workplaces, and I think that it's really important that we actually again uh, look at ways that we can address that.
That's great. And how do you feel that social media and AI are affecting what it is that you do, and where are we going here with all this?
Oh yeah, that's a bit.
Mm.
Like I, social media, I think, has been wonderful in a lot of ways in that
Yes.
it allows you to connect with people. I know um, I started my podcast as a just an idea, and it's
Yeah.
become very quickly my favorite thing to do. I mean, I
Hmm.
don't it doesn't make me money or anything like that, but I absolutely love it because it connects me with
Yeah.
people from the other end of the world. I've speak to people from Poland, from Africa, from America, all around the world who I otherwise wouldn't meet. So
Yeah.
it's amazing in that regard. So it's a good way to connect with people. It's a good way to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on. It's, AI is a really interesting one.
Yeah.
I do use AI quite a bit. My advice to people is use it to help you think. Don't let it replace you. Like
Hmm.
I engage with it like it's a really high end graduate, but
Yes.
I'm constant, like it's a perpetual graduate. So it helps me to do some of the really time consuming work that isn't necessarily uh, the thinking. Don't give it away. Don't give away your
Mm.
IP. Don't
Yeah.
give away your critical thinking.
Hmm.
I think it's important, but otherwise, it's a wonderful tool. It'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see where it goes because I
Really
think
interesting.
that's just the way I like to use it. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a lot of people who use it differently, and I'm sure they will. But I think it is very interesting times with the AI.
Yeah. Definitely interesting times.
Yeah.
Well, you've mentioned your podcast. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so the podcast came to me again, made redundant, had it
Yeah.
plenty of times. So I love to watch podcasts
Hmm.
myself, and a YouTube channel. I started that. And the idea was that I would talk to other professionals around how they create social impact,
Hmm.
because social impact is I guess, little known area of the sustainability.
Yeah.
Quite often don't get a lot of attention. A lot of people don't know exactly what it is I do. And I know that the people that I work and the people in my industry do amazing things.
Yeah.
Not the kind of people that quite often go and brag and talk about what they do. They just go on and
Hmm.
do it. And I wanted to raise awareness around what we do and actually give people a platform to talk about the
Good.
amazing achievements that they do. And it's been really, like I said, I mean, I love doing it because I get to
Hmm.
hear from them, but I love being able to provide a platform and a space for them to share their journey and stories to inspire other people coming through
Yeah.
that there are ways that you can do it. If you've got an idea that you're not on your own, there are other people out there who've already paved a way for you, and you
Hmm.
can learn from them, grow from them, and hear their stories and hopefully get inspired.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, I know there's not much time left in EarthX to connect with, but who are you hoping to connect with here for the rest of the time?
But who am I? I almost like, I just want to meet as many people as I
Yeah.
possibly can. I
Mhm.
just met, there's people that I must admit, the hit list was really hard because I'm from Australia, so I
Yeah.
don't necessarily know everyone here. But I am meeting amazing people all the time that are doing incredible things. From, I'm hearing about super grids.
Yeah.
I'm hearing about, like I said, the neuroplastics, and
Hmm.
just the incredible amount of people in this room,
Hmm.
in this venue for the last 3 days has
Yeah.
been mind blowing. And I think I've made a little dent in
Yeah.
meeting some of those people, and I look forward to meeting as many as I can before I leave
Yes.
tonight. So I'll be milking it for as much as I can while
I
I'm
love that.
here.
Well, before we let you go, tell us about where people can connect with you outside of
Yes.
here.
So outside of here, you can go to my website, which is allthingssocialimpact.com.
Mhm.
My YouTube channel, which is Voices of Change Stories That Matter on YouTube. I'm also on all the little platforms. So Andrea Kanaris and LinkedIn, of course, and then Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. So my videos go up on there, and you can contact me in any of those platforms. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for doing what you do. We need more people in the world like you.
Oh, thank you. It's been a
Yes,
pleasure, Paul. Thank you.
absolutely. And stay tuned because we've got more at EarthX 2026 next.